It's Jack from B&T MacFarlane. Today we got a brand new model from Kubota to go over. It's the U10, so let's get into it. Today we're going to be looking at the smallest excavator that Kubota makes. Originally this used to be the K008, and Kubota, they still do make this model, but that fits in the KX series, which if you remember from the video, the KX series versus the U series, the KX series, it does have a tail swing, so when you spin that machine around, the rear end of the machine hangs over the side of the tracks, but on this machine, the U10, it fits in the U series. So when you spin this machine around, it's always contained within the track width. So when you're working in those tighter, hard to reach spaces, when you spin that machine around, you don't have to worry about the walls on your side or people on your side. When you spin the machine around, you're not going to hit anything outside of the tracks. The big advantage of these machines is the size. I know a lot of people, they look at it like, what can I possibly do with this? But it's going to be perfect if you're working in kind of suburban, urban areas where you need to get into those tight, narrow spaces where a bigger excavator wouldn't fit. So you can put this back there and you can work much longer and put a guy on here for 8 to 10 hours, and it's a lot better than using a shovel. So a big advantage of going with the U10 is that the tracks change. At its widest configuration right now, it's going to be 3 feet 3 inches wide, and with a quick flip of a lever right here, I can actually bring the tracks down to 2 feet 6 inches wide. So yes, this machine will fit through a single man door. So if you need to get into new construction builds and go through a front door, you can do that with this machine. The ROPS bar, it does also fold forward, so you can fold it to get through those doorways. So you can see here, just one lever brings those tracks in, and now I'm at the narrowest configuration at 2 feet 6 inches. And then if I just pull that lever back, I'm gonna get brought back out to the 3 feet 3 inches. There we go, it's just that easy. Looking at the controls on the U10 Kubota, they've done a fantastic job putting them in a more ergonomical position. If you've ever seen a K008, the controls are kind of over in front of you, so you're always hunched over running the controls while looking over the front of the excavator. In the U10, they've put them in a way better position. What you'll do is you'll take these two red levers, push them both down, and now the levers are more of in a traditional spot you would see on an excavator, so you can lean back and relax a little bit while using these two controls. In terms of the operator's platform, you definitely wouldn't want to be too big of a guy up here. Getting up here is a bit of a struggle, but once you're up here, it is actually fairly comfortable. All the controls are within an arm's reach. So you have your two bucket and boom controls over here on the joysticks. You have your movement controls front and center, and then over here is your blade control. And with a flip of the lever, that blade control does become your track width adjust. And then over here on the black lever, that is your rev meter, so you can adjust the throttle on your excavator. And then like all Kubota excavators, it does have boom swing. So over here, there's a pedal on my right-hand foot. As you can see here, I can swing the boom over to the right or to the left. Now we're going to talk about some of the capabilities of this excavator. With it being about a 1-ton machine, it's not going to be huge. It's not going to go out and dig swimming pools or anything like that. But doing some light interlock work and doing some demolition work inside of homes, that's where it really excels. The bucket on the front of this will be a 12-inch tooth bucket, or you can opt for a 14-inch tooth bucket. And Kubota, they've also come out with a new premium coupler style for the U10 and the K008, so you can quickly swap between buckets, and if you want to get a tooth bucket and a ditching bucket, so a flat bucket, you can do that as well. And there's also a couple different attachments you can get for the front of this. It's not plumbed in yet, but you can get hydraulics down to the front and run a front breaker. So we see a lot of customers that use this machine as almost a jackhammer to go into garage floors and wherever they need to be and use it to bust up floors or interlock. This engine, as you probably would imagine, it sits underneath 26 horsepower. It's only about 11 horsepower, this engine, so it's a pretty small engine, but it does give it quite a bit of power, especially for the digging capacities on it. In terms of DPF systems, it's not going to have any regeneration. So like I mentioned, sits below the 26 horsepower, no regeneration, no DPF filters whatsoever on this machine. Again, one of the things I love about most Kubota equipment, and the U10 especially, they've taken it straight from the larger excavators, is the track tensioning system. There's no roller wheels that can get jammed with dirt and break over time. There's no spring tensioners. It's exactly the same as what you would see on a larger full-size excavator. It's going to be a grease tensioning system, so you just put your grease gun in there and then pump it with a little bit of grease, and then you can tension these tracks right up. As always with most Kubota construction equipment, I know you're probably tired of hearing it, but it comes down to ETAs. Getting this equipment is pretty hard to come by, so if you want to get one for later this fall or for next season, I'd recommend putting your name on one as soon as possible. And in terms of pricing, Kubota, they do offer 0% financing for 48 months on all their construction equipment. So the price of this one is going to be in the neighborhood of about $34,000 to $35,000, depending on which buckets and which attachments you get for the front of it. I just want to thank you guys for watching. If you need help with parts, sales, or service, give us a call at 613-225-0555. Thank you.